Thought to be one of the most haunted hotels in Texas, and maybe the most haunted location in San Antonio, the Emily Morgan Hotel has made many skeptics rethink their ideas on the paranormal, a place that seems to hold spirits captive from the days when it was a medical centre. If you decide to stay here overnight, be prepared, as something is truly watching you from the shadows. Hey there, dissectors, and welcome back to another haunted location. Today we're going to delve into the many hauntings and history of the Emily Morgan Hotel, a property that boasts poltergeist activity, shadow figures, as well as full-bodied apparitions that like to sing, and if you're really unlucky, get into bed with you. So let's take a brief look at the history of this haunted hotel and get an idea as to why it may be as haunted as many believe. It's safe to say that the building itself is no stranger to death. Built in 1924 and designed by Ralph Cameron, this Gothic-style property is truly creepy. It even has gargoyles depicting different ailments from when it was a medical centre. The scenery also overlooks the historic Alamo, where hundreds of men died as a small group of determined people fought for Texan independence from Mexico in 1836. By 1976, the property went through a transformation as it was converted into a modern office space, which didn't last long as it was then refashioned again, but this time as the Emily Morgan Hotel, which still stands strong to this day. Now, the story behind Emily Morgan, who the hotel is named after, is truly a tale of courage by one young woman. About 6 weeks after the Battle of Alamo, the two sides moved the fight to San Jacinto, where things took a very quick turn. You see, on April 21st, 1836, while the Mexican side was said to be taking a siesta, the Texan army struck fast and hard. The Mexican general Santa Anna was not prepared for what happened. There were no guards posted, and let's just say he was distracted himself at the time of the attack. Legend states that a young servant woman, known at the time as Emily D. West, had been captured at some point by the Mexican forces and was being forced to entertain the general in his tent when the attack occurred. Knowing what was about to happen, the young lady distracted the general for as long as she could, so he couldn't give the orders for his forces to fight back. After this brave act of defiance, Emily was bound to Colonel James Morgan and was given his last name, as was a custom of the time, now making her known as Emily Morgan, affectionately referred to as the Yellow Rose of Texas. Today, due to its history and location, the Emily Morgan Hotel is thought to be extremely haunted. People from around the world visit here every year to see for themselves if they too can experience something paranormal. Now, the most haunted floors are said to be the 3rd, 7th, 9th, 11th and 12th, which is not surprising as some of these floors were used as a psychiatric facility. Guests and staff alike have shared their experience of these floors for many years, but there are other creepy locations too. So let's delve into what has happened around the hotel that has caused its haunted reputation to go from strength to strength. The 12th floor is the location of where many surgeries took place when it was practicing as a hospital, and maybe operations are still taking place here. Guests have reported the scent of rubbing alcohol and hands reaching out and grabbing them in their rooms and along the hallways. There is also the sound of muffled cries and other unexplained noises. Now, the 11th floor has a spirit that is seen quite often by guests and staff alike. The ghost of an elderly woman wearing a hospital gown has been witnessed walking along the corridor and sometimes is even heard to be sobbing as if she's received terrible news. But just as suddenly as she appears, don't be alarmed when she disappears by walking into one of the rooms or through a wall. In this area too, the squeaky wheels of a hospital gurney can be heard travelling along the hallway and stopping outside hotel rooms in the dead of night. But when people have gone to see what the noise could be, there's nothing there. Just an empty corridor staring back at you. On the 9th floor, there isn't so much activity along the hallways, but the guest rooms, which is scarier if you think about it. At least if they're haunting the hallway, they might leave you alone in your room. Often, in the middle of the night, guests have been awoken suddenly to an entity slamming their toilet seats up and down repeatedly. Others who've ordered room service have experienced wine bottles being pushed off their tables, along with the sound of muffled voices coming from unoccupied rooms. Be warned, dissectors, this is said to happen quite often. The 7th floor is very active with paranormal activity. As if the other floors weren't bad enough. Here you will find shadow figures walking around the hallways who, when seen, will hurry away by walking through doorways or walls to escape. One family who was staying on this floor was jolted awake one night when every single electrical appliance in their room suddenly turned on. As the terrified family sat bolt upright in bed, they saw a dark shadow figure sliding across the room before disappearing through a wall. Sneaky bugger. On the third floor, there seems to be an exceptionally friendly spirit who is thought to be either a young girl or a woman. One evening, a guest was awoken by a child sitting at the bottom of the bed. The guest said that the entity spoke to her, even asking if she wanted to sing along to the tune that she was singing. Now, that would be scary enough, but maybe you could put it down to a vivid dream. But not when it happens again. You see, the following night at around the same hour, the guest was awoken again, but not by a child at the bottom of the bed or singing. Nope. They felt something crawl into bed with them as the spirit's body pushed against theirs. Worth noting too is that the guest noted the huge temperature drop in the room when the spirit made themselves known. Now, another guest on this floor reported them and their son being awoken one night by a woman singing to them in their room. Could it be the same spirit seen as a young girl and a woman? Now, at the Emily Morgan Hotel, it's not just the haunted floors you have to contend with, but a haunted elevator as well as Alamo ghosts. The elevators are said to be regularly checked out due to how many problems they have, so rest assured, there is no faulty wiring. Alas, it's just ghosts fooling around. The elevators will regularly go from the 6th floor to the 7th and back again, ignoring whatever floor you were trying to get to. Worse yet, sometimes they will ignore all floors and head straight down to the basement, which once upon a time was the hospital morgue. And here it will stay as if waiting for some unseen spirit to get on board. Now, as I said earlier, the hotel overlooks the Alamo, and at night, people have actually seen the spirits of the dead soldiers from their hotel room windows. Approximately 500 Mexican and 189 Texan soldiers lost their lives between February 23rd and March 6th, 1863. To make matters more undignified, after giving the ultimate sacrifice of their lives, General Santana had the Texan bodies piled up into a heap and set ablaze. Maybe this is the reason that the spirits of soldiers are seen wandering the grounds outside. They didn't get any kind of prayers said over them, just dumped like waste. Now, the hotel has learnt to embrace its paranormal history. I mean, when you have so many reports, it's hard to shake it off. They are said to have a psychic happy hour in the bar and restaurant every Thursday, where you may receive a free palm reading while enjoying fantastic music. They will also accommodate your needs if you're wanting to experience something paranormal while staying at the hotel. So, if you request one of their haunted floors, they will do their best to make that happen. There is so much activity at the Emily Morgan Hotel, and with the medical history as well as the Alamo, it really does seem to tick all the boxes of being a truly haunted location. I can only imagine how terrifying it would be to be woken up by your toilet seat slamming in the middle of the night. I mean, it would be horrible too, as the shock may make you need to pee, but would you want to venture into the bathroom after that? Then you have the singing spirit who enjoys a good cuddle. I can say from experience that having a ghost cuddle up to you is another kind of terror altogether. This happened to me while at home once, and I physically felt an arm go around my waist. No idea who it was, but it was very scary. As for the elevator and being trapped in the basement, well, basements are horrible, haunted locations. It's always the same when you watch horror films or play scary games. Nothing good comes from a basement except an overwhelming urge to run like hellhounds are on your arse. Well, dissectors, I hope you enjoyed today's haunted location, and I'd love to know what you think of the many paranormal stories coming from the Emily Morgan Hotel. So please leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please also consider leaving a like or subscribing so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, my friends, stay safe out there.